my experience was limited really to 1 or 2 summers learning to sail on the Charles River in Boston on some 12-foot boats. And I really hadn't sailed for decades since then.
Yes, we did. Actually, when it came, Richard thought we should go through the program together, and since he was more experienced, I said I would feel more comfortable doing it separately from him. So we both went through the program separately, and it was fantastic.
Just add that the instruction that's provided by Pinnacle is absolutely superb. It's very professional. The instructor is wonderful, and because they instruct you on the specific boat in which you will be sailing, it really gets you incredibly comfortable with the specific equipment that you'll be using.
And they have a great time. We always try to go to some destination where they can get off and swim. They love jumping off the boat and swimming. And last year we took an overnight with them, and it was a very nice trip.
Yeah, I would say the children love certain aspects of the boat. They love to sit up at the bow when we're underway. It's just a great feeling up there. The very first season, I remember they just loved exploring the boat and seeing the different, trying out the berths and the various cabins. And interestingly, one of the things that we were very concerned about before we joined the program was, which was 4 years ago, the children were pretty young. They were 9, 7, and 4, and I think we were both rather concerned over the safety issues. And it really has not proven to be a problem, and everyone's become just much more comfortable with that. We enjoy entertaining on the yacht. I tend to do a little bit more of that, usually with I take out groups of business associates or people who I work with at the office. I usually take a group of 3 or 4 or 5 people, and we often go out for a nice sort of sunset sail, and then enjoy some refreshments and some dinner below decks afterwards. And I find it to be a really sort of a wonderful outlet, and what's nice about it is a very different form of entertaining than how business entertaining is typically done. It's a novel experience for people, and I think they really enjoy it. And then we also entertain sometimes just some of our friends or neighbors. We have a bit of a tradition of taking 2 sets of our neighbors out, and the 6 of us have a good time.
There's nothing like it when everything is aligned and there's beautiful wind and the sun's out. It's the perfect day, and everyone's smiling, and it leaves you wanting more.
That's actually a great way of describing it. It's a bit like making the perfect fairway shot in golf. Sort of brings, when you have one of those days, it brings you back for the next season, no matter how bad other days may have been. But to me, there's just nothing like having those sails perfectly trimmed and cruising along, and the weather being perfect, and that's what sailing's all about.
I think when Richard was looking into buying a boat, I was nervous about it taking him away from the family and spending too much time on the boat. And I didn't know whether it was really the thing for him. So I suggested he find a lease share or a share on a boat. And it has been absolutely perfect because he comes, he enjoys, he uses, and then he gets to walk away and come home and not worry about any of the headaches that come with owning a boat.
Of course, in addition to that, there's the issue of finances, and there's no question there's something very comforting about knowing that you write one check for the season, and that is your maximum exposure, no matter what happens to the boat. If things break, if a sail has to be replaced or whatever it might be, it's somebody else's concern, not yours as a Pinnacle captain. Well, of course, the golden rule is to leave the boat in the condition in which you would like the boat to be left for you, and the Pinnacle certainly has certain guidelines for cleaning the boat after your use. It's really, it doesn't take too much time, but and obviously depends on how how much usage the boat has received during your sail, but you certainly need to hose the boat down and make sure that the head and the galley are clean, and that you take all your belongings off the boat and make sure you've not left any garbage or anything like that on the boat. But it's it's pretty much limited to a cosmetic cleaning.
I think one of the highlights was last year we took a day sail across the Sound, and there wasn't much wind, but still the children had such a great time because we swam off the boat and they explored a little island, and one of our children decided to go back in the dinghy, and he spent like 3 hours reading a book in the dinghy, and I have pictures of him, and it was a highlight because everybody just had a spectacular day. Even if there wasn't a ton of wind, they still had a great time being on the boat and being as a family, which is always nice.
I remember when we were getting towards the dock, and he still had his nose in the book in the dinghy,
Yes.
and we said it's time to come in. And he sort of looked up, looked around, and said, "Oh, we're back already."
Yes, it was. It's always a great way of spending time with the family and not having distractions around you.
The other thing I would say, and this is probably a little bit more personal for me, is I've become passionate about sailing. And I often say that Pinnacle actually made this all possible for me, because I'm not sure we would have done this any other way. And I wouldn't have discovered this passion had it not been for the Pinnacle program. And all I can say is to Pinnacle, thank you, because it's added a whole new dimension to my life and to our family's life.